meet our experts, who'll be giving their opinions on the unexplained.
I do believe that there is more to reality than this material world we see around us. I just don't think science and reason has all of the answers. So I think there are absolutely some things in this world that are unexplainable.
There is a viable explanation for everything. I get involved in scientific investigation of paranormal claims, but also I do go out ghostbusting at the weekends. I'm a skeptic in the true sense of the word. If I can see quite blatantly it's not real, then I will definitely call it out.
I believe that ghosts exist because I've experienced them myself. Some things are definitely unexplainable. Science has a long way to go to proving the existence of the afterlife.
My mum was a medium and I've grown up with ghosts. Life goes on beyond death. I think there are life forms on other planets. Do I think there's always an answer to the unexplained? No.
This is Unexplained, caught on camera. But first, in Suffolk, UK, investigators in hot pursuit of UFO activity.
Oh, I saw something next to you.
End up being the ones pursued.
I've just seen some lights, and now the helicopter's over here.
UFO hunters Phil Bradshaw and Jeff Young have been investigating extraterrestrial activity for over 10 years.
We do any sort of investigating that involves UFOs. There's more stars out there than grains of sand on this planet. If each star is a sun, and each sun has a solar system, there's got to be life somewhere.
I think perhaps you'd be very naive to believe that in the universe of this size that there isn't extraterrestrial life. I strongly believe that there is life out there.
And one of the places the pair thought they were most likely to find extraterrestrial life was Rendlesham Forest in Suffolk.
Rendlesham Forest has become famous for the UFO landing that took place in December 1980.
It's actually known as the UK Roswell incident. There's an airbase right next door. It's no longer used, but it was used by the US military.
It was one of the officers on a watchtower that saw bright lights in the trees, so they assembled a team and went out there.
What they found was actually a craft which had landed. It was levitating off the floor and almost had a glow to it. They saw this craft take off. They saw it divide into other pieces. Unfortunately, all the evidence, so the photographs, the recordings and stuff like that, were taken away.
Suspecting a cover-up operation by the US military and following reports of unexplained flashing lights in the forest since that night, Phil and Jeff embarked upon an investigation with their colleagues, Mark and Clive.
So here we are in Rendlesham Forest, and this is where the incident took place in December 1980. People say strange things happen here now. They say they see types of shadow figure, strange noises, so we're going to see what we can capture.
We set our equipment up and waited until it got completely dark. It was very, very eerie.
There seems to be very, very little wildlife here.
Yeah.
During the day when we came here, I didn't see anything. I didn't see a squirrel. I didn't even see birds. Normally in woods you get rustling and stuff, but there's been nothing.
It was just dead silence, nothing at all. What do they know that we don't know? They must have been sensing something.
Eyewitnesses, very credible eyewitnesses actually, saw strange light anomalies in the forest which they couldn't explain. At the time, nearby RAF Woodbridge was being used by the United States Air Force. So everything about this area suggests that it may well be a UFO hotspot.
It's a location where many people have reported UFO sightings, and certainly we have some, military personnel that have reported military sightings, and that makes it more evidential. And for that reason, I can understand why people would want to go there and possibly capture UFO footage.
Near to the reported UFO landing site in the forest is the 18th century family home of filmmaker Gary Lowe.
It's amazing that our home is only 300 metres away from the UFO sighting. It sort of didn't really bother me that we was living so close to the landing site, but things do sort of go through your head sometimes.
But one day, Gary actually caught sight of something strange in his garden.
It was mid-January and it was a beautiful, bright, sunny day. I was videoing and I just thought it would be a good idea to get a shot of a plane in the distance, but my eyes are not as good as what they used to be. It was not until I got indoors and I put the footage onto my laptop that I could clearly see that it wasn't a plane.
Later, Gary and his family try to explain the unexplainable.
Wow, I've caught something really, truly amazing here that nobody's sure of what it is.
And the UFO hunters suspect an alien invasion.
Mark, Clive, something's going on!
In the nearby Rendlesham forest, darkness didn't deter the UFO hunters, who were investigating the notorious landing site.
Over there in the trees, Mark is seeing a white light.
I've seen it about 6 times.
Oh, I saw it. There it is. Yes. It's moving, it's transient, whatever it is. It's over there.
Are you still getting it? It's still moving?
I'm still seeing it. It's to your right now, Jeff, to your right.
They weren't at a level where it could be a reflection of something from animal eyes or something like that. They were floating maybe 6 foot off the floor. I've never seen anything like that before.
We were too far from any roads. It was dark. If someone was walking by with a torch, it would only be a couple of feet off the ground. Also, the area that the lights were moving is somewhere you can't really walk without falling over and probably really hurting yourself.
One of the most unexplained things that happened for me on that investigation was a flash of light at the bottom of a tree. It was like a beam of light which came down from above. It lit up a small area around the base of the tree, very localised, very bright.
Why is that lit up and then everything else around here is not lit up? Why is it just down there? It's like there's just a glow of something just there. And I'm looking up there, the moon is behind us up there in the trees.
So it's not moonlight?
It's so quick. I did slow it down and we were amazed. There's only one place they came from and that was above.
But it wasn't just the unusual lights they saw.
I swear to God, I've just seen something move. Who's out there? For a split second, I saw something black move next to the camera. There's no way anyone can walk through the middle of that forest without making a sound. If it was someone with a torch, they couldn't have done that. We've come here this evening to speak to you. Whatever was moving through those trees, it was big, 20 feet off the floor.
Using an EVP device, Jeff tried to communicate with the presence they clearly felt.
So can you make yourself known, please? Now, we've seen some lights, which may be something to do with you. Were you here back in 1980 when it was reported that some unidentified flying object landed here? Were you part of that?
When we played back the recording, there was a voice. Couldn't make out what was being said. And then there was this chanting. It didn't sound sort of a normal human chant. It sounded a bit gargly.
It was like saying something over and over and over again in a very monotone way. you start doubting yourself. You think, am I really hearing that? But then when one of your colleagues turns around and says, can you hear that? And then we're all listening to it. It's quite strange and difficult to explain.
There's been light phenomena seen around these woods for the past 40 years nearly. Do you come back and visit?
Can you speak to us, please? It didn't have a human tone to it. It was probably one of the most strangest EVPs that we had captured.
Later, there's more unexplainable activity.
No. What? Oh.
As the UFO investigators have company.
Oh, I saw something next to you. You're fucking kidding me. No, I've gone, oh my God. I've gone all fucking on.
Back in Rendlesham Forest, and after capturing flashing lights and strange chanting at a famed UFO landing site, Jeff and Phil were determined to find evidence of extraterrestrial activity.
Well, I said to my other team members, I want to see if there's something else attached to the lights. So they stayed at the landing site. I took a static camera with me, a digital recorder. We had walkie-talkies each. And I carried the equipment down this small path and headed that direction for about half a mile. And we could see this big ball of white lights start moving in and out of the trees. They could see it their end, I could see it my end. I went to use the walkie-talkie to let them know I can see it. The walkie-talkie was dead. I just lost power to my walkie-talkie. We just put brand new batteries in. It's dead.
Cut off from any kind of communication, Jeff realised to his horror that he wasn't alone.
There was a light somewhere in the woods in front of me, and now there comes a helicopter. Something's going on.
Jeff believed the US military had got wind of their investigation.
Whatever was going on there, they knew what was going on. What the hell's going on? They can see us. They could see the lights. They were tracking the lights. I kid you not. There was lights in the trees, within the trees, and at the same time, a helicopter has just come right over in the exact position. Something's going on. Holy shit. I couldn't actually work out why the helicopter was in that airbase when it's closed down. It shouldn't be in use.
Mark! Clive! Something's going on!
Another Apache helicopter comes in. We got 3 now above us. I'm looking at these lights. My team members can see the lights. We're filming the helicopters, we're watching them and the lights, they're watching us and the lights, and I'm thinking, what the hell have we got ourselves into here?
I've just seen some lights, and now the helicopter's over here. The walkie-talkie's not working.
It was scary, it was terrifying. No matter where we go, it seems to be watching us, and we couldn't work out why.
This is apparently, a public place. This is woodland. You should be allowed to go there. So why are these helicopters monitoring what they're doing?
There are governments in this world that do not want us to know the full extent of visits from other life forms.
Are they unidentified flying objects that have an alien source, or is there something else going on?
Back at the landing site, Mark and Clive are about to experience something even more petrifying.
They're all over the place. This light phenomenon is everywhere. What's it? No. What? Oh. What have you seen? Oh, I saw something next to you. You're fucking kidding me. No, I've gone, oh my God. I've gone all fucking on. It was stood right next to you, and it was here. Oh, fuck. And it was the same height as you.
I had to walk this long distance back, just carrying the equipment, trying to get back to my teammates because I can't even call them. Everything's dead. Right, let's get back. Let's find Mark and Clive. When I got there, they were quite panicked.
You know as well as I do that I'm very sceptical, okay?
Yeah.
And right stood next to him for a split second was another, and I swear to God, it was exactly a duplicate of him standing next to himself.
There was two of him, and I could still see the fright on his face, and I'm thinking, what's going on? And there's his helicopter's lights, and I just said, let's get the equipment, let's get out of here.
Phil and Jeff are still no closer to finding an explanation for what they saw in Rendlesham Forest that night.
There was definitely activity which I can't explain. When you review the footage, you think, gosh, now we've captured something here. Whether it's paranormal, whether it's alien, or whether it's a phenomenon of nature, who knows?
But the pair are convinced there's more to this story than meets the eye.
I believe what happened on that day was the military being involved in tracking UFOs in Rendlesham Forest that started back in December 1980. The abandoned air bases, I don't believe they're abandoned. I think there's some operation going on there. We know what we saw that day. I believe the military that were there in the helicopters, I think they know a hell of a lot more of what's going on in Rendlesham Forest.